Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on the Justin Root Show. I am sitting with Jen Candy. Now, do you go by Jen Candy Sullivan or Jen Candy?
I go by both.
By both.
It's whatever people want to say. So, normally I always just say Jen Candy, but then out there in the world, I am Jen Candy Sullivan.
How long have you been married?
In October 27th, 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We survived.
Well, I should mention the show you host. It's called Couch Candy.
Yes, it is.
And where can people see that?
If they want to come to see a show live at Second City in Hollywood, we do a show monthly there, or you can go to couchcandy.co, and my website's there. It has dates. It has a link to all the YouTube videos that you can see. I've got a handful of them up there right now.
Do you like hosting your own show?
I do. I love
fun,
it.
right?
It's a lot of fun.
Well, you get to talk to, in the intro, or one of the descriptions I saw for the promotion of your show, you kind of refer to it as you're interviewing your crazy aunts and uncles.
Yep.
Because mostly you're speaking to people who worked with your iconic father,
Yep.
whose name you bear,
Yep.
Mr. John Candy.
Yep.
I do have to tell you, before we get into much more, that you can go on Kimmel, you can go on Oprah, you can go on, who knows where your career will take you. You will probably never talk to a host who loves your dad as much as I do.
Oh, I love that.
So I want you to know that.
Thank you, and I will remember that forever.
I grew up, our family, I'm like trying not to cry, our family, great outdoors, Uncle Buck, like I could go on and on and on. But what is it like to hear someone talk about someone who was your actual father versus a favorite movie star or a favorite actor?
I love it. I'm so used to it now. I think it's just kind of, I don't know, it's sweet. It's like when people talk about that, because it's something I can connect to, and I kind of can connect to them, and it helps me connect to people that I've never met before, and then I've now got something in common with them, and I have more in common with you. But it's great. I like it. I like it when people talk about my dad and what they grew up watching. It's like, my favorite thing is to hear about older generations saying, oh, I'm now introducing my kids to Great Outdoors or Uncle Buck. I just had a friend text me the other night and I was watching TV. She's like, we're introducing the girls to Uncle Buck right now. And I was like, oh, she's texting me all the different parts. I was like, go enjoy the movie with your kids as opposed to texting me while we're doing it.
Aww.
But I love it. It just makes me it warms my heart. I love it.
What was your kind of Great Outdoors or your Uncle Buck growing up? Not related to anything your dad did. Like, who inspired you, or what did you guys watch?
What did we watch? I grew up watching Monty Python, Blackadder, Laurel and Hardy, The Three Stooges. Like, my mom and dad were like huge advocates of anything funny and comedy. We'd stay up late at night and watch Rowan Atkinson in Blackadder, which was just, and Hugh Laurie was hysterical, and I love it. And then, as you get older, you're watching House, and you're like, wait, I know him from, he used to dress up in women's clothing, or he was this and this, and parts of history in the show that I grew up watching, and I love it.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
And also my dad's friends, which were celebrities, but not to me, and so it was kind of, they were like my role models, but I just kind of loved watching them. And
in stories I've heard and things I've read, it doesn't sound like they were just friends. I mean, it sounds like that man was loved. My God, I've never. I mean, any of his
No, he was a larger than life character. His nickname was Johnny Toronto when he was in Toronto. It's like he could have been born in Texas. It was like go big or go home. It's like the guy, for God's sakes, I love him to pieces, but he ended up, he wanted to own a football team, and he did. And not many people can say that they accomplished that. And so all my dad's friends to this day, they are always like, well, your dad wanted a football team, he couldn't play, so he bought one. And it's like, yes, he did. And that was a weird, surreal, part of my childhood was, my dad was, part of the CFL, the Canadian Football League, for the Toronto Argonauts, and with Wayne Gretzky.
I was going to say, with Wayne Gretzky, right? Did you go to games?
We were at games all the time.
Did you like them? Or was
I love them.
You did?
I love them.
Really?
I was more of like a tomboyish type person, so I played hockey, and I loved sports, and, and all that stuff growing up. So going to those football games was great, because and it was just fun. I enjoyed it.
So dad, obviously larger than life, comedy, actor.
Yeah.
Who's mom?
My mom is an artist. She's a ceramicist and a painter, and she's super talented. She's very funny, even though she doesn't think she's very funny. A lot of our sarcasm actually comes from her. But she was a stay-at-home mom, and she kind of, and then also managed my dad's schedule, and he had his group of people, but at the same time, it's like, And still to this day, there's like our production company that still deals with like my dad's stuff, Frostback's Productions. We all run that. She had to, once he passed away, it's like deal with contracts and making sure things get like re-upped, and it's just making sure everything goes smoothly, because once someone in the entertainment business, just because they pass away doesn't mean everything stops. You still have to keep functioning. And so she did like a crash course in like business and all that stuff. And so she has everything, she runs everything so well.
Wow, you never really look at it that way.
No, it's a business. My dad always said acting is a business. He says, treat it like a business. It's fun. It's very rewarding. But at the end of the day, it's a job.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Which kind of is a great segue for my next question, which is there any part of you that might have like a little resentment of like, yeah, I love that movie, but that's also the movie that took Dad away for a year? Or made us have to leave school or move, switch schools.
I was going to say the leaving school part was great. I loved it. I spent a month I think it was a month or a couple weeks in Jamaica. So I was...
Oh, Cool Runnings,
Cool
right?
for Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. I was like, okay, I'd rather be on a set doing this. But my parents were big advocates of you have to be in school, you need to do that. And, we would go to Chicago, and when he was shooting in Chicago, so we were there for long periods of times. So I did get resentful when I think it was around birthday times. It was like if my dad would call and he'd be like, I can't get off of work, I'm stuck, I can't be there for your birthday. And I would get it, but I'd be sad. And I honestly don't think he missed very many birthdays, if any, because the one I remember before he passed away, it was my 14th birthday, because I'm born in February, he passed away in March. So that birthday, he said, I can't be there, I'm trying to get out of work, I can't. And so, but he ended up making it, and so then we went to a hockey game, and it was fantastic, and it was great. But it was like, I remember being just so sad that I was like, no, it's fine, I get that you can't be there for my birthday, we'll celebrate when you get home over the weekend, but it's,
And you were born in 1980, right?
Yep.
So, and you were 14 when your dad passed away.
Yeah, he passed away in 94, I was 14, because I just turned 14.
So you were very, very young during
Yeah.
the 80s. Do you have memories of being on sets?
Oh yeah, almost all of them. I remember being on sets. I was saying Cool Runnings in Jamaica.
Of course, yes.
Uncle Buck in Chicago.
Did you meet Lori Metcalf?
Yeah.
You probably like her best friend. You're like, she's on my phone.
I still know her and her daughter. But not
Marcy Doggenfrost, sorry. I had to say her character. I'm sorry.
She's fabulous. I was a stand-in on a show called My Boys, and she was on there, and her daughter was there, Zoe, and it's so interesting because it's like many years later, and then I'm the kid that's like, or not the kid, I'm a full-grown adult, but I'd be like, excuse me, my name's Jennifer Candy, my dad was John Candy, and they're like, oh my god, hi, and Lori was like, oh, it's so good to see you, and then, oh, my daughter's here, Zoe, and so then many years later, it's like I worked on a Disney show, and then Zoe was there, and so it was just so, our paths always cross. Amazing. But her character, I keep telling her character is my favorite in that movie. It's so great.
Marcy Doggenfrost. She didn't bother to lose the frost, and she always gets compliments on the hyphen.
I know.
I'm a little crazy. No,
that's great.
I'm actually mad at you because he's my Uncle Buck. That makes us cousins.
And
you've never called me.
I'm sorry. I'll start calling you now. I didn't have your number. It got lost.
I know. We just met today. It's so amazing. And little Macaulay Culkin.
I know.
And Gabby.
Yeah.
Gabby Hoffman.
Yeah.
She's doing kind of alright right
yeah,
now.
I
mean, my
I
God.
don't know.
That little show Transparent.
Yeah, I know. Just this little thing.
But as a kid though, and you're seeing your dad work with other kids, was that like a mind trip?
No, I think as long as they were nice to me and they let me play with them, then it was fine. And I remember Macaulay Culkin. They were both nice. I think we were bowling at one point, and Uncle Buck, and there was like, that's my bowling ball, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But then that was about it. It was nothing crazy. But they were fine.
So there's a huge difference between acting and comedy, I think. Mm-hmm. And Lucille Ball always said, I am not funny, I can do funny. I don't think funny. Was your dad funny?
Yes.
Funny at home?
My dad was funny at home, funny at work. He had a sense of humor and a sense of timing. But like every comedian, I think their worst nightmare is when people are like, oh, you're funny, say something funny. And you're like, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Well, I wanted to ask you that question about your dad because I want to know where it came for you. Where you thought, not only, am I going to do the entertainment business thing, and I have this, obviously you had some burning desire to be on stage and to act. Where did you know you could do funny?
College and alcohol, I think.
Really? So not really an influence from the family.
No, I think think college and alcohol. No, I think it's because you had an audience of people. As a kid, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're funny, you're great. I picked up my dad's mannerisms and my mom's mannerisms, and I don't think I naturally I don't think I had them or noticed them until I had alcohol in me or something, or or was just more relaxed, or sarcasm, or even in college, not college, but in high school, I loved all those stupid 90s movies of just the SNL, the Adam Sandlers, and they were horrible, but I love them. It's like Dumb and Dumber. I would recite them all. I prefer watching comedy. There's enough reality in the world that it's like, and I'm not to knock, or I respect everyone who does, and I love doing dramatic stuff. It's like I don't say that I don't like doing it. I do it in my acting classes, and I enjoy it. But for me to watch something, I want to watch something that makes me feel good. I don't want to watch something where I'm like crying and my husband looks over and is like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm just so sad. They're like, nothing happened yet. I go, I know, but I know it's gonna happen, and it's just sad.
So you probably don't watch This Is Us.
I do.
But it's your brother-in-law,
Yeah, my
right? I
brother-in-law.
just found that on Facebook like 2 nights ago.
Chris Sullivan, yeah.
He plays Toby.
Yeah, he plays Toby. I went to college with him, so that's Chris and I were good friends in college, and his brother, my husband now, used to come and visit him in college. When he graduated college, we started kind of hanging out and started dating, and then it's like almost, so I've known, 20 some odd years. Oh gosh, for a long time. No, it's such a great show, and I love it because there are aspects that make you feel good. But it's a very, very challenging show to watch because I'm like, I don't want to cry.
I know, right?
So then I changed the channel and I watched Kevin Can Probably Save the World. And I think that show is so great. It's such a cute show.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my DVR.
Watch it, Jason Ritter.
I love Jason Ritter.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
So good.
He's so
good.
And he's so talented, and it's just, when I watch that, it kind of reminds me of when I watch my dad stuff, and even watching my brother act, and what people say, they're like, oh my gosh, you look just like your dad, and I'm watching Jason Ritter going, oh my god, he sounds just like his dad. There's so many mannerisms that are just...
It's uncanny, like, talking to you right now. You look, spitting image, you have to hear it your whole life.
I do, but I have a hard time, like, I get it, like, I can see it, but then there's some times where it's like, they're like, what you just said is exactly what your dad would say. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. It's like, you kind of forget after a while. But no, I always joke, I am my dad in drag.
No, you're not. Armed and Dangerous. I know
that is true.
You don't look. You are stunning. Your dad was not stunning. I'm sorry.
No,
your dad's very funny, but you are stunning.
My dad loved. I don't know what it was. Boy, he loved to dress up in women's clothing. I love it. SCTV. He was Divine and Peter Pan. Divine as Peter Pan, and it was just, and then Armed and Dangerous, and then Who's Harry Crumb at the end of the movie. I love that scene because the bow around his shoulder. It's great.
Him on the fan.
Oh my gosh.
Just plays in.
Yeah, we were in Vancouver when they shot that. So every movie that my dad had, I have a memory because we were there. And even Blues Brothers. I was not born.
I was going to say,
but my mom was pregnant with me in the concert scene, so she would go. So to this day, the Blues Brothers album and the soundtrack is my favorite. My mom said I used to kick like crazy whenever the album would come on, and ever since I was a kid, I play that album over and over and over again. Still to this day, I love that album. I love the Blues Brothers movies. I've gone to see Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi perform when they do the Blues Brothers stuff, and I love it. It's just, that's so part of me. Even though I wasn't born, I feel so connected to that film.
All right, these are just a few of your dad's films. Blues Brothers, Stripes, Vacation, as in National Lampoons, as in Wally World.
Yep.
Splash, as in I won't do the as-ins because my God, we'll be here all day. Volunteer, Summer Rental, Brewster's Millions, Armed and Dangerous, Little Shop of Horrors. Oh my God, the hairs on my neck are standing up. Spaceballs!
Yep.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, are you kidding me? Great Outdoors, Who's Harry Crumb, Uncle Buck, Home Alone, Only the Lonely, Delirious, JFK, Cool Runnings.
Yep.
What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh.
I know. Terrible question.
It's a horrible question.
Okay, we're going to do it 2 ways. What do you think his best is?
Oh, okay. That's easy.
And what's your favorite?
Ooh. It's sometimes hard. It's interesting because I would always go through phases of, because you get asked this question all the time, but I love JFK. Love it. Love it. I think that's my dad's best performance. He worked so hard on that. We were in New Orleans when he was shooting that. He had a dialogue coach to help him get the dialect down. I think the director's cut, Oliver Stone has more scenes of my dad because they love my dad's character, but they had to edit it down. But he had a chunk of stuff because he just kept adding him in because he really enjoyed what my dad was doing. And I think that he kind of he nailed it.
Nailed it.
Just nailed it. Now what is my favorite? There's so many. I love Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
I just love Great Outdoors. I like to think of myself as a woodsy person, but I think that just reminds me of our family vacations and going to our friend's house in the cottage, and we never went camping. We weren't campers. My parents were. My mom was like, no.
Yeah, you were like the Annette Bening in that character.
Yeah, hands down. But we always thought we were, the Chets and all that stuff. But into a point, my dad was. It's like our farm we had. It was like he loved grilling. He loved doing all the handiwork and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like we weren't roughing it that much.
I don't know if this is true or not. One of those Hollywood folklore things, but that your dad was in the front row of the 23rd Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And did Joe Montana really see him? Mm-hmm. Well, you tell it.
It's a true story. My dad was there. Joe Montana was in a huddle, and he was giving them a pep talk and saying, oh look, he was trying to distract them from what was like going on and getting them out of their head and stuff like that, and was like, oh look, it's John Candy in the stands, and he's great, and they talked about that, and then that was it. That was the story. My dad was there. He's got, I think somewhere in storage we have a jacket from that Super Bowl. The movie with Kevin Costner, it's Draft Day.
Oh, Draft Day. Yeah.
Which is actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. They tell that story. So Kevin Costner tells that story, and it's awesome.
You can't speak for your father,
no.
But if he were here today, woke up in 2017, saw the world. And you have a lot of elements. You got politics, you have social media, you have, what's this device you're pressing?
I know,
like,
right?
all these things. What do you think he would think of this world right now?
He'd be stressed, and we'd be in Canada. He would have moved us back a long time ago. Because he just would, technology he would have loved. He would have loved technology. He was always into the latest and greatest with like laser discs. He got a new sound system at our house, and he's like put on Top Gun just because that was one of the first movies to like have the surround sound of all the airplanes and the fighter jets and all that. So he loved, and Days of Thunder and all that stuff. So technology part of it, the political and the social, I think social's hard. Boy, it's different being an actor and a celebrity nowadays. It's really, really challenging, and I feel bad for people because there's a loss of privacy that, and I don't care what people say. Well, you're an actor, you signed up for that. It's like, no, we didn't sign up for that. I love going to Disneyland. I love going to Disneyland and not being stopped. No one knows who I am, and I don't tell people who I am. My dad couldn't go to Disneyland, but then there was that one day where we had gone, and he was going down the escalator from the monorail, and they were like, "Oh, look, it's John Candy with a beard and a hat," and he turned right around, and we were with John Hughes at the time and his kids, and my dad patted John on the back and said, "Have fun with the kids. I'll be at the hotel." And so it was like, well, there you go.
And John Hughes, that's that guy that made a couple movies.
He made a few movies here and there.
And your dad was in like, what, 9 of them, 8 of them, something like that?
They loved working together.
The most repetitive actor that Mr. Hughes ever had.
Yeah.
Not Molly Ringwald.
No.
Your father.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They loved each other. They loved working with each other. They had so much fun.
And they made
great movies.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic. So he was just family friend.
Yeah.
Just a family friend. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your show though, because what's going on with it right now?
Gosh. So I just finished my last show in October, and then we're gonna take a couple months off, and we'll be back in March, April, May. And so it's just, I don't know what I'm doing with it. At this point, I'm just doing them and whatever.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. I never thought about hosting. It was always something that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually something that people do. And I was like, oh, this would be fun. And so I came up with the idea, and I wanted to interview people that my dad had known and I kind of grew up with. And Second City at the time was looking for kind of like a educational James Lipton type, inside the actor's studio, but kind of not as serious.
Martin Short, Eugene Levy.
Who
am I missing?
Dave Thomas. Joe Flaherty. Andrea Martin.
That's all, you've had that one?
I've had that. These are ones that I haven't gotten up yet. So I have had Andrea Martin, George Wendt.
George Wendt's up.
George Wendt is, I put his up because we did a roast for him in Chicago, which was fabulous, so I had that up. Jerry O'Connell, Miriam Flynn, who is the aunt in Vacation. I think I've done over 25 shows already.
Now I'm gonna get Barbara Waltersy for a second.
Okay, good. I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna cry. If you could interview your dad,
okay.
what is one question you would ask him?
God. If I could interview my dad, what's the one question I can ask him? Boy, this is a hard one. What am I gonna do? What do I ask? Oh God, there you go. I don't know. I keep thinking, what's the secret to the business? But that's an easy one. That's like, there is no secret.
It's your question.
I know, but I think I already know the answers to all the questions. I would ask him, because I never got to ask him, I would ask my dad what his favorite film was to work on.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't know that answer?
No.
Wow.
Because he loved working on all of them, and he had obviously frustrations with all of them, but I don't know what his favorite film was. Like, I knew people that he loved to watch, like I know that, all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to like his work, he was so good about keeping work, and then obviously we knew he loved working with John Hughes, but I don't know which one his favorite film was.
That's fascinating.
So
you, like, when you say keep it at home, keep work separate, so does that mean no, like, let's all sit and watch Dad's movie tonight? Like,
no.
None of that, really?
No.
None of that.
We watched like dailies, but that was like always work for him. We did movie night, but it was never his movies. It was other people's movies. He took me to go see at the Aero Theater in Montana. He went to go, I think it was the movie called Tap. It was a double feature, so it was that, and then afterwards was Parenthood. And so Parenthood started. We were like, okay, great, we'll start Parenthood. Soon as the vibrator scene came on, he was up and pulled me right out of the theater. So he took me right out, and he's like, I can't believe I wasn't warned about what's in this movie. I thought this was family friendly. And, yep.
God, your dad, he sounds very hands-on in your upbringing.
Yeah. Oh,
parenting. Yeah. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, no, very much. He was not a distant participant. Like, he was a hands-on participant. Both my parents were, and I think that was so important and key to our upbringing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have just turned out to be just this, like, lovely,
Aww.
well-spoken,
Thank you.
great human being. And, we glossed over it that it doesn't have to be John Candy. Losing a parent at 14.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter who you're.
What do you say to somebody? Like, how do you get through that?
It gets better. It doesn't get, you'll never forget it though. It's like weird. You'll go through days where it always feels like it just happened, but it also is, you deal with it. And then there's days where you're just driving and then you start crying and you're like, you see something, you're like, it reminds you of your dad, and then all of a sudden you're sobbing. Or you could be thinking of one of your dad's friends and then all of a sudden you're sobbing, and then you're sobbing at random ass things, and it's that triggers, and it's okay. And the thing is whatever you feel is fine. But also don't be afraid to talk to people about it at later when you feel comfortable about it. I love talking to people about it because it's like, what, 20 some odd years already, and it's happened a long time ago, and I've had a lot of life growth in between then, so you learn a lot, and I've been very fortunate to have support through family and outside and friends and all that stuff.
And I read an interview you did where you said that, you had talked to him on the phone right before he
Yeah.
died, and you were a little upset at yourself for being so flippant.
I hated it. I was studying for a stupid vocabulary test.
But what's so amazing, when I read that, I thought, you were doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing, and you behaved the way you were supposed to. You were a teenager.
Yeah.
Studying.
And I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, you were exactly
focus.
where you were supposed to
Yeah.
be. And do you realize, though, that
I know.
your parents put you there?
Yeah.
Like, they raised someone to be studying for a test.
I know.
Like, I would imagine some part of him just being, like, so proud of that.
No, and I think that's definitely hands down.
It doesn't take away the
No,
pain,
I know, but it definitely made me go afterwards. I'm like, well, no test isn't that important.
Well, sadly, we've come to the end of our interview together, and I love to end my show with either or. It's so easy, you don't have to think about it,
Oh,
right?
fantastic.
Parmesan cheese or blue cheese?
Parmesan.
Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve?
Christmas Eve.
Croissant or scone?
Scone.
Roll-on deodorant, spray deodorant?
I'm gonna say spray because I just turned over to spray.
Planes, trains, or automobiles?
Automobiles because I can drive.
Sliced avocado or guacamole?
Guacamole.
It's funny you just said this because here's the next one. Being a passenger or driving?
Driving.
AC or windows down?
Both.
Couches or candy?
Oh. Couches.
College or high school?
College.
Hot cocoa, hot cider?
Hot cider.
Stand-up or improv?
Improv.
Really?
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette or Anne Murray?
Oh. Anne
Come on,
Murray.
all of Canada's watching. You gotta
Murray.
pick. Interviewing or being interviewed?
Oh, I like being interviewed.
Okay, good. Kurt Cobain or Courtney Love?
Ooh. Courtney Love.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mornings, nights?
Morning.
Really? I'm opposite.
I used to be a night person. I am now in bed by 10 o'clock every night, and unfortunately I'm up at 6. I'm like, why am I up?
Front row at a Broadway show, front row at a concert.
Front row at a concert.
Barbra Streisand, Celine Dion.
Barbra Streisand.
They're both watching. So.
Yeah, Barbara. I know, I'm not going for the Canadians here, but sorry.
I just added one. Canada or Los Angeles?
Oh. LA.
Really? Okay.
No, I'm a Canadian. I'm a California Canadian.
Okay. Glasses or contacts?
Glasses.
Texting, phone call.
Phone call.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's where we're so opposite.
No, I will text, but I love to hear people's voice.
16 Candles or Pretty in Pink?
Ooh, pretty big. Ducky.
Gwen Stefani or No Doubt?
What's funny?
80s music, 90s music.
80s.
Yeah, 80s, 100%. Still kind of tough. There's some good 90s.
There is
but
still good 90s, but I'm like hardcore 80s.
All about it.
Yeah.
All about it. Give me Psychedelic Furs,
Oh.
Depeche Mode, any day.
Yes.
Valet or South Park?
Depends on where I am, but valet.
Last but not least, Stevie Nicks or Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder.
You're my first guest.
What?
Probably 20 people to say Stevie Wonder.
Really?
That's amazing.
Love Stevie Wonder.
Amazing. You like blew my mind. I was like, everyone always says Stevie Nicks. I was just curious. Maybe because I know I love her, but whatever.
Wow. I do love Stevie
They're
Nicks
both
too,
amazing.
but I just
You can love it. You can love it. I just
I'm owning the fact that I love Stevie Wonder.
there's no right or wrong to these.
I know.
It's just a little fun.
I love it.
Where can people find you? Do you you're on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter at The Real Jen Candy. It's also my Instagram, The Real Jen Candy. I don't know why I picked The Real Jen Candy. It was just easy, and that's what people were doing at the time. So I was like, sure, why not? Facebook, Jennifer Candy. You can go to my Couch Candy webpage, which is couchcandy.co, C-O, or jennifer-candy.com for all that other fun stuff.
Well, thank you. I'd love to have you back someday. Maybe after
Always.
you've won, like, you're.
We'll both win Emmys. We'll work on something together.
There we go.
We'll
We'll
both win.
co-host.
We'll co-host. See? We could easily do that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.